This is the Citroen C3 Aircross. Now we've done a comprehensive first drive review of this exact car. So you'll be wondering, why is it here again? Well, that's because this has something new in the central compartment. There's this new 6-speed torque converter automatic from Aisin. It was much needed and it cost 1.3 lakh rupees more than the manual variant. So is it worth the extra premium? We'll tell you in this video. Welcome to Car and Bike. But before we proceed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon besides it.
Let's jump straight into the meat of the story, which is the driving experience.
We'll get straight to the point and start talking about the gearbox that we get in this car. It's a 6-speed torque converter automatic from Aisin, and this is the same unit that you can have in the Volkswagen Taygun, Skoda Kushaq and even the MG Aster. And how does it perform? Well, quite nicely. Now this 1.2 litre turbo petrol is typically a 3-cylinder engine. At standstill it's quite vibey, but once you start driving, it gets smoothen out and feels nice to drive. And the gearbox, it's not as fast as a DCT obviously, but it's quite smooth and makes your driving experience quite seamless, and gear shifts are almost imperceptible. So that's quite a nice thing about this car.
If you want to take the reins in your own hands, then you also have the option to slide it into the manual mode.
The C3 Aircross automatic is going to be a good companion for a road trip because these seats are quite comfortable. The cushioning is spot on, and the driver also gets this foldable armrest. Not very graceful to open it like this, but it's at least there to help you stay comfortable on your long drives. The car also has a brilliant ride quality, so you don't have to slow down for any potholes. And when you're cruising at highway speeds, the steering feels nice and the car feels stable enough to make confident maneuvers or overtakes.
This car's ride is such a highlight because Citroen is a multiple-time world rally champion that has dominated the sport in its heydays.
The mileage figure is 17.6 kmpl, whereas the manual variant will give you 18.5 kmpl. So there's not a lot of difference. But in day-to-day driving, your driving style will obviously influence the mileage that you get from the car. So you can expect around 10 to 12 kmpl in the city and around 15-16 kmpl on the highways. It also gets a dead pedal, so you can comfortably rest your left leg. Now this is an automatic car, so talking about how smoothly the gear slot is not going to make a lot of sense, but not in this case. If it was a straight moving gear lever, it would have been easier to operate. But right now the movement is not as smooth as you would expect, and it becomes a little difficult when you're trying to drive it in tight spots, or maybe you're trying to park it, especially in the dark. Now we all know that there are a lot of missing features in this car, but if you separate that from the driving experience, this one is quite a nice car to drive.
There are no changes to tell it apart from the manual version. So you get that familiar, proportionate and good-looking design, halogen headlamps with LED DRLs, 10.25-inch touchscreen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and a digital driver display, among others. Another USP is that it's the only car in its segment to offer a 7-seat version as well. Its second row is fairly spacious, the entry into the third row is decent, and it's usable for small trips, although it will be a little tough to hop out of it. But then there are a few missing features which might put off a lot of buyers. Now it's time to deliver the verdict on the Citroen C3 Aircross automatic. Is the extra 1.3 lakh rupees justified for that automatic? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. A lot of rivals offer an automatic, but for 1.5 lakh rupees or more, which means this one offers a good value for your hard-earned money. At Rs 12.85, it's also the most affordable automatic option in its segment. It's offering you a 7-seater automatic for the price of a top-spec sub-4 meter SUV. So if you are eyeing a no-nonsense automatic family car, then test driving the C3 Aircross makes a lot of sense.